Hi everyone, welcome to Have You Heard? And it's Yes Friday today. So today, for the first time, we're listening to Big Generator. Now, more out of necessity than anything else, as we are working our way through the whole Yes discography, we're reaching more and more the 80s era. And we're going to be listening from this album, we're going to be listening to Shoot High, Aim Low, which I think is probably the most successful track on the album. It's where everything comes together, probably better than anywhere else. And it is a weird album in a number of different ways, which we'll probably talk about a bit more as we do other tracks on it. But this is a group composed track. It just seems for me to kind of weld the 90125 um, yes sound, if you like, with a slightly more traditional yes progressive feel, although it's not necessarily a progressive song, but it just feels that way a little bit. The production is magnificent, the vocals are superb, the atmosphere it creates is tangible. Uh, yeah, it's something that we can talk about quite a lot after we listen to the song, but let's listen to the song first of all and let's enjoy it. Here we go. Big Generator, of course, was released in September of 1987. I think it got to 17 in the UK and 15 in the US, I think. Somewhere around about there. But this has always been the song for me that defines the album. So let's listen to it now. Shoot High, Aim Low by Yes. There we go. Shoot high, aim low. Um, you, I, I think you have to kind of put this song into context a little bit. Take a look at the album as a whole and look at the whole fractured relationships that Yes were at that particular time. It's such a weird part of their career. And I always think that whoever you're reading about or whoever's being quoted um, when they're talking about this particular time in their lives, you kind of have to take it all with a pinch of salt because everyone's viewpoints seem to be so opposed, so opposite to what the other person is saying. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Uh, I just think that if you listen to this particular song, it's absolutely everybody seemingly doing exactly what they should be doing. And yes, the vocals are amazing. John, the theme of the song is to live beyond war. And it seems like there's this maniac or a whole group of maniacs in a helicopter up high, and that's John singing from their point of view. Trevor is singing down below, just a couple in a car in love, and they're singing about their lives at the same time. And you have living in peace and living in and being at war or being in conflict, and they're opposed to each other. The song carries that through to the climax. The the opening is really atmospheric, and it sounds a bit like a tube or a subway station, but is it? Is it a helicopter revving up, ready to leave, ready to take off? I'm not too sure. But then you have such beautiful Chris Squire bass lines. The guitar playing from Trevor Rabin is, as usual, so tasteful, and he can switch from delicate to powerful. He's a marvelous and underrated guitarist, I think. Alan White's drums, it's an 80s sound, but not too 80s. What do you think? I don't think it's too 80s at all. I think it's just right. And then you've got the wash of keyboards in the background, creating that atmosphere, the sense of dread almost as these things are coming up to the boil. Um, Tony Kay on Wikipedia is talks a lot about the keyboard process for this album. He he says that he was a lot more involved than he was in 90125 when Trevor kind of took over all the keyboard spots. Here he was more involved, but he recorded away from the main studio. And there was a whole big thing going on with the band and Trevor Horn at this particular time. They weren't getting on, or certain factions of Yes weren't getting on with Trevor Horn. I think Tony perhaps was one of those. And he was playing a Korg synthesizer that could replicate Hammond organ sounds, could replicate a whole lot of other keyboards, and he was mainly using that. But he'd record it up in a separate room, and it would all be downloaded into some kind of a console or some kind of a mixer, and the sounds would come out of that. Way beyond my my knowledge of how keyboards and music works, but it seems really weird. And he also talks about them um, having access to one of the most complicated synclavier systems that was available at the time, which helped them create a lot of these atmospheric sounds. And that ties in with something I read when we did The Calling a couple of weeks ago, where I read that Trevor has. Was it Trevor? Oh, now I'm doubting myself. Either Trevor or Tony have now they now own probably the most advanced synclavier collection in Europe. I can't remember whether it was Trevor or Tony now. I'll have to look that one back up again. But anyway, they had all of these sounds available to them, and they made good use of them, I think. Uh, the yeah the whole album started off kind of on a bad footing because Atco, the label, just wanted another 90125. Specifically, they wanted another Owner of a Lonely Heart. So Trevor felt under so much pressure to deliver that. And he didn't want to deliver that. He didn't want to dwell in the past. He wanted to move forward. Um, John wanted to um, take advantage, if you like, of the bigger fan base they had and go and do something more experimental. Just sort of, we've got all these people, let's show them what we can do, and not stick to the pop kind of routine that they'd got themselves into. Uh, Tony Kay says that he remembers that Trevor just had so many songs that were available that he had already written. A lot of them were arranged, and it felt like Trevor had songs ready to just go, and everyone was pulling in various directions. Trevor Horn was not interested in any of their particular ideas. And so in the end, it all kind of fell apart. They recorded in Italy, in a castle. I think this track was recorded there. You kind of get that kind of feel, don't you? They recorded in London. They did a bit at Abbey Road. They did things at Rack. They did. They then, because nothing was working, they moved across to LA. Uh, In the end, it was left to Trevor and his engineer, Paul de Villiers, to um, put everything together, to mix everything. Everybody else seemed to just wipe their hands of the whole album, and it's such a shame because when you play the album, there's so many interesting stuff, so many interesting pieces. Admittedly, some of it kind of doesn't link particularly well. There are some tracks, like another of my favorites actually, I'm Running, which just seems to have so many ideas. How do we just get them all together into a cohesive single song seemed to be the problem. And it was left to Trevor to kind of make the best of it. So there you go. Ironically, it ends up getting awarded or nominated for a Grammy for Best Rock Performance by a Group with Vocals. Second time in a row after 90125. So the Grammys liked it. It sold pretty well. It sold over 1 million copies, but it kind of was the beginning of the downward slope for Yes as a relevant band, do you think? Certainly not for us as fans. I mean, we've still got from 1987, we've still got 40 years almost of music to listen to and to decide whether we like it or not, and to nail our flags to the wall and say this is great or this is not great. That's what we as Yes fans just seem to want to do. Um, but it certainly creates lots of discussion. That's the big thing. I love this song, I really do, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it as well. I guess as we do more and more Yes Fridays, we're going to be having more of these kind of discussions. Are you a yes? Are you a liker or a disliker? Did you stick with them? Did you move away? I'm a bit of both. I stuck, I moved away. I've kind of rekindled my interest in latter day, yes, particularly the ladder, and I think we'll be using that one in probably the next edition of Have You Heard, the next Yes Friday. I think the latter is, as I listen to it more and more, it is quite an amazing album. Anyway, there we are. We've still got to talk more about Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman. How? We've still got to talk more about Rick Wakeman's favourite album, Union. Yeah. Put your comments in the comment section, please. Let me know what you think. If you're new to the channel, this is what generally happens. We play a great song and then I waffle on for a while. But if you enjoyed it, please think about subscribing. Certainly like it so we can get to more people. Uh, and there's lots of Yes songs on the Yes playlist that we have attached to the channel that is well worth digging in and having a listen to. But that will be it for now for me. Thank you so much for watching. It has been Yes Friday. Have a lovely Yes day. Listen to lots of lovely Yes music of whatever era you want. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the next episode of Have You Heard, because we do one every day. But until then, cheers everybody.